Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's Darkest Timeline podcast. What else in these dark times could it be? We've got the games, the movies, and the TV. Something from the week. And I imagine I'll be moaning about something. I should really lighten up. I should try and do a podcast where it's just all happy all the time. I'll think about that. While I'm thinking about that, you could think about clicking the subscribe button, whether it's YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you're getting your podcasts. Drop us a little note to say that you've done it, and we'll send you a high five. How about that? Anyway, let's get cracking. Excuse me. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the Darkest Timeline podcast. Cute old man noise. I tell you something. My back has been firing warning shots for the last couple of days. There's these little twinges here and there, just these like ooh, ee. And my back's basically like, if you don't be careful, I'm just gonna go. Then you'll be sorry. So I'm trying to be careful. How you doing? You well? How's your week? Good? Good. So I had a bit of an issue. We all know about the list. The list gets completed day in and day out. And I had this big chunk for the list. It was going to be juicy. It was going to be a good, I imagine at least 20 minutes. But I've had to remove it from the list. And that's left a bit of a gap, a hole. And it's a little bit like, I put it on the list early. And I think because of how weighty it was, I've maybe leaned away from putting other things on the list. So now we're in this position where the list is strange. But there are other things on the list that might develop into bigger things. So it might be a little bit higgledy-piggledy today. Let's see what the first topic is. Oh my god. First topic is last week. Been coasting along nicely. Monday, podcast. Tuesday. Now then, I think Tuesday ended up supposed to be a podcast. No podcast. So, not that my life revolves around podcasts, I'm sure you'll understand that. I'm just saying, I've got to get that done. I've got to get that done. But then, the realisation dawned. Hang on a minute. Wednesday, busy. Thursday, busy. Friday, busy. Saturday, busy. And it just went like that. And I was like, oh no, what's happening? And I was getting super stressed because every time I thought of what I had to do on a particular day, I either remembered that I had something else to do or was reminded that I had something else to do, which is worse. And I was spiraling out of control. At every moment I was like, I've got a bit of time there. Like I say, I'd either remember, that I actually had something to do, or would be reminded, and it was just like, it was non-stop. Wednesday, went to see my sister. my brother-in-law, and my niece, and my nephew, and the dog. And that is that. You know, you get up at a certain time, you get sorted at a certain time, you get the child sorted, you get the dog sorted, you get in the car, you do the drive. You have that time. You get back in the car, you drive back, get home, and you would think that's it. But no, it's not. Because with not being here through the day, it left X number of jobs that needed to be doing in the evening. So having done a big drive there and a big drive back and dealing with a puppy that decided 5 minutes before we were due to come home that it would actually stop moving. With not being at home and having all that stuff throughout the day, it'd be nice to just sit down and relax. But no. I found, I don't know if it's an age thing, I don't know if it's like a life choice, I don't know what it is. But I found that I really cherish the times when I can, relax. Everybody needs downtime. I'm out the door between 7 and past, running. And I get back and it's work and it's, you finish work and it's being a parent, and you finish being a parent because, the child goes to bed. You never truly finish being a parent. Child goes to bed and then it's like, you're on to doing weights if you haven't already done them by that point in the day, and then you finish the weights and then it's the tea and then it's the podcast and then it's and I think because of that's naturally generated this need for downtime. And I now I say it, now I think about it, I reflect back and I think that there has been a point where I have been like, I need that downtime. Because otherwise you go crazy. Simple as that. So, yeah, Thursday. We'll talk about Thursday in a bit. Friday was one of those work all day, then have something to do in the evening. Saturday, Sunday, full-blown parent time. All the girls. And here's the thing, because it all reflects. Because by the weekend, I'm like, my brain can't function, and I need to think of something for us to do, and I need to think of somewhere for us to go, and I need to think of an activity, and I need us to enjoy the time, and all of that, and I just can't. And I'm like, oh, what do you guys want to do? Don't know. Well, what do you want to do? You can do whatever you want. What do you want to do? Don't know. And it's like, okay, that's that, because I don't know either, because I can't, it's that just keeping going. So it was a stressful week, which led to one of those weird weekends where it had the potential of being stressful, but as long as you didn't let it get on top of you, then it didn't end up being stressful. What are them? You know the ones. And then the weekend finishes, and then it's just go time again. It's right. Oh, now all that's done, I've now got another X number of things. Fantasy drafts. I get that that's not important to some people. I guess it's not. I get it that it's not stressful to other people, but it's both of those things to me. It's just, and then Monday again, innit? And it's go time. get the lead out, get sorted, all of that. So, a stressful week. But, hey. So, let's talk about Thursday. I went back into the office on Thursday. And let me tell you, what a difference that made to my working day. My working day was 6 hours. Because it took me an hour and a half to get to the office. And I had to leave at a particular time to get back from the office. So I did a 6-hour work day. Admittedly, it's very much little column A, little column B. You know, X amount of stuff was unavoidable, meaning that I would get to the building late, and X amount of other stuff means that it's like, well, you know, if you take that out of the equation, I probably would have got there sooner. There were 6 people from my entire department there. And I got a new laptop. I got a new work laptop. That was kind of a highlight. That was, I don't know, almost 50% of the reason for going in. And on the other hand, I had a meeting very much like the meetings that I have every day. But it was in person. But it wasn't in person because a third of the people weren't there. So there was that. Honestly, I am struggling to think of a bigger waste of time. The issue I've got is that I know full well that I think largely across the board things are better. Now I would work on the principle that things are probably 60% better, but from a certain perspective, we can't admit to that. No, can't admit to that. So in actual fact, it was so much. Here's the question. Here's the biggest question. Did I get more work done on Thursday in the office than I would have done at home? And I'll give you a hint. I would have logged on 2.25 hours sooner than I would have done in the office. And I would have logged off probably an hour and a half later than I did when I was in the office. There's progression for you. And then here's the thing, it wasn't awful. I'm not like, I hated every minute of it. I was there 10 minutes before I went to get my laptop sorted. I got my laptop sorted. I came away with a new laptop, had that whole setting up a new laptop thing where you got to, put things where you like them and all of that. I that for a little while. Did some work. I had to walk further to make a coffee. I went out. I went out at lunchtime. Had a wander. Came back. Then I went into a meeting for an hour and a half. And then I came out of that. I ate some lunch. Did some more work. Went home. Walked back to the car. Drove home. It wasn't like it was awful. But was it any better? No. Was it more productive? No. Was it just largely pointless? Yes. And you know something, and there's going to come a point in time where the stance is going to be, you need to go back in the office. And when that point in time comes, that's what I'll do. I'll go back to the office. However many days or whatever is needed, that'll be me. But anyway, it was what it was. So, there's that thing I can't do. So, here's the thing over the weekend. As a parent, there are things you fear. As a parent, there are things, I play computer games against my daughter, mostly my eldest. And at the moment, touch wood, at the moment, I can still beat her. But there are already signs that that's not going to last much longer. And then I'm going to be like, well, now what? Now what do I have? So, I was listening to a podcast the other day where it was talking about, somebody who had who has two daughters, and they reach an age where they want nothing to do with their father. And I was like, oh no, don't say that. Things like that, difficult things to hear like that. Because I'm just like, well, if my daughters don't want to see me, or not so much that, but spend time with me, they don't want anything to do with me, that'll be really difficult to deal with. So, there's that. But we're not there at the moment, I think. But I think my eldest has started humouring me. We're not quite at patronising, but I think she's started humouring me. We're both into DC stuff. Mostly DC animated movies. But me being me, I just soak up all the information that I can about things I'm interested in. So they'll be like, we'll talk about this film, and this happens, and she started being like, oh, and I'm like, okay, that's that, cool. So then I'll be like, from this person does this voice in this film. All right. Like, okay, that was, that's similar to that other thing you said, but okay, maybe it's just the way we're saying things now. Then a bit later there'll be something else about another film, and I'll be like, and this is this. Oh, I'm like, oh my God, she's humouring me. Now, luckily, she's not patronising me, because I think that's worse than being humoured. But yeah, that one's taken a little bit of an adjustment. I imagine it is a learnt behaviour. But yeah, that one's been an interesting one over the course of the weekend, because I get very, very excited about stuff. I get very into stuff and all that. I try and share that information, and it's like, after a few times of her humouring me, I started going, I guess I won't talk anymore then. I guess I won't. I could tell you this. I could tell her this, but I guess I won't, because I can't imagine she's interested. And it's these things that you hear about as a parent. But as every parent ever says, this is a common parent phrase. Nothing can prepare you for the point in time that something actually happens. So nothing can prepare you for the point in time where one of your children starts humouring you. All right, that's nice. It's the verbal pat on the head. It's like, What's happening right now? I don't understand. Huh? Honestly. Like I say, the first couple of times I was like, oh, maybe it's just a thing, maybe it's just that's the way she's saying stuff. And then I realised what was happening, and I was like, oh. I thought we were I don't know what I thought, but yeah. After that realisation, there was points where I was like, oh, I'll tell her this. Oh wait, no, I won't. There's no point. So yeah, now I'm not sure how it's going to shape things going forward. Like, am I just going to get to the point where I stop, relaying stuff? It's knocked me for six, ladies and gents. It's knocked me for six. Something that we'll all be real happy to hear about is that, not to date it as always, but today is the 6th of September. Not obviously when you're listening to this, but today is the 6th of September. Obviously what was great was seeing variety, some might say a multitude of Christmas things starting to pop up already. Now here's the thing, I say it year in and year out. Once the kids go back to school, the Christmas horseshit starts. But here's the thing. My kids haven't gone back to school. So why am I seeing Christmas bullshit in what was August already? Because that's it. The moment it starts, that's it. And 4 months, it's a third of the year. Honestly, it just makes me feel sad. I say this every year. I love Christmas as much as the next man. And if you want to come to me on the 1st of December and say, soon be Christmas, nearly Christmas, I will agree with you wholeheartedly. If you want to come to me the last week of August and tell me that it's nearly Christmas, I think I'm divided. 50% of me wants to do harm. The other 50% just feels really sad. It's like a pity. It's like you not got anything else going on in your life right now? No? Oh, bless. Where do people find the time or the energy? Or is that it? Too much time? Too much energy? I can barely think about Christmas when it is Christmas. I don't understand. I get that it's exciting. I get excited. I am a child trapped in an old, overweight body. I am all of those things and more. I love Christmas. But let's get through, we've still got Halloween, we've still got bonfire night. These are things that you can still look forward to. I imagine if I go back a year in podcasting terms, there will be me giving this exact same rant. Should be illegal. It should be illegal. So, this is long. This is going to be long-winded. Strap yourselves in right now because this is going to take you on a bit of a roller coaster. Because it's really twisty and turny. So you know how Americans do things in pounds? They talk about weight in pounds. Oh, so-and-so weighed 500 pounds and they lost it all. Now they weigh 100 pounds. That's probably not true. Americans do everything in pounds. We do everything in stone. And with a quick calculation, yes, it is possible to work out the difference between the two. There we go. But on the fly, it's a little more difficult. What was it? 140 pounds, 10 stone. So, you can even use that as a rough guide. So I've been listening to podcasts, a lot of talk about pounds here and there. You've got anytime anybody mentions Ethan Suplee, you've got Tom and Bert often talking about often talking about weight, and it's all in pounds. So I'm listening to Two Bears, One Cave. I'm running along, and I was like, and they were going to town on talking about weight. There was this thing about being 217 pounds, 215 pounds, all this. And I was like, you know something? I listened to these guys talking about weight in pounds, and I couldn't tell you at this point in time what that is, what that looks like. What's 217 pounds? So later that day, I came home, and if you can't guess, I'm doing it now. I came home, calculator at the ready, tappy. So I've always, you watch Two Bears, you watch Tom stand up, Bert stand up, you watch anything that Bert's on, and you're like, that's an overweight man. And that's, as an overweight man myself, I hate to say it, but it's kind of comforting. It's like I can deal with that because Bert's off the rails. Bert is off the rails. The drinking, the eating, holy smokes, all of this. So then you work out what weight they're talking about. Let's do So there was a point where Bert talked about the fattest he'd been, and he told it in pounds. And I was like, I can't even imagine what that is. So I'm out and I'm running, and I was like, hang on a minute. If 142 is 10, and then you've got 14 pounds, 28, 40, 56, that's another 4, so that's 14. It's like, hang on a minute. Something is wrong here. So I'm going to keep the numbers loose here, people. You'll see why in a minute. At Bert's heaviest, what he said was his heaviest, he weighed a little bit less, quite a bit less, than 19 stone. Like, okay. That's interesting. So that was one day last week where I was like, oh my god, Bert's fattest is what I would dream of weighing right now. Like, I was just like, what is going on right now? That's not right. What? So I went through all of that. So then, I'll get the calculator out again. These are where the numbers are going to get real loosey-goosey. I'll do what I weigh today, because I know that. You mother flipper. How do I do? Wait. How's it that way? Oof! Ho ho ho! Oh! Oh! Every time I do it, it makes me want to cry. So yeah, there's a couple of stone difference in the calculation. Again, I was knocked off balance by this because I was using Bert Kreischer as a benchmark, probably wrongly. I was like, Bert drinks probably in the region of like, he's borderline alcoholic. He eats. Often they talk about like what he eats throughout the day, especially like talking about going off the rails. Although I think some of the days that he talks that way, it's very much that's an average. And I'm like, well, I'm crushing it. I'm intermittent fasting. I'm eating, crackers for lunch. I'm eating salad for tea. For a treat, I have a skinny whip, which is 100 calories. I have a cheat meal once a week. I run 6. Is it 6? No. I run 5 days a week. I work out 6 days a week. My running's getting back up there, and my working out is in this like insane phase, and yeah. And then when you realise that you're a couple of stone heavier than somebody that you think is out of control, you're like, shit. So that was one day last week. I had the joy of working out on Saturday, and I was dripping. So I was like, I've got a job to do, and that job is to blow up an airbed. My eldest has been very much enjoying sleeping on an airbed rather than sleeping in her bed. It's like a little adventure, like a little camping adventure. So I'm like, right, here's the thing. Everybody's downstairs eating tea. So take the soaked t-shirt off. Done. Go and blow up the airbed, because you're going to get sweaty doing that. Then go and get changed out of all of the rest of the workout gear. Job done. Problem being is that time of day, that point in time, all of that, all I was surrounded by was reflective surfaces, essentially. Window, TV screen, so on and so forth. So I'm blowing up this air mattress using a foot pump with my hands. Yeah, process that one. And all I can see is like me in all of my glory. And I was just like, oh, that's that weight. That's that weight. Yeah, that's that weight. And that's been it. That's been I think for, like I say, I was using Bert as a benchmark. He's drinking and he's going crazy and he's going off the rails. So at least I'm not that bad. And then that realization of, oh no, you're actually worse. And maybe that's what led to me like seeing it for the first time. Because I realized today that I'm just lying to myself. I go in the bathroom, I'm going to get in the shower, I look at the mirror, and there's a part of my brain that goes, well, it's not that bad. Could be worse. Or do you remember when you were really fat? Man, I bet that was loads worse. And you've just worked out, so that's good. Go on then, big guy. Get in the shower and, get yourself clean and fresh and all of that. And then, yeah. Today I was like, I'm going to go in the shower. There's that situation. And you know something? For all that I've been doing recently and all that I've cut back on and all that I'm not doing and all that, adding extra miles and working out harder to the point that like I get to the back end of the week and I'm like, oh, I'm ready for a break. All of that, it's not making a blind bit of difference. And I don't get it. I really don't get it. I listened to a thing today about somebody was having a conversation about weighing food. Somebody was like, "How do you weigh your food?" Yeah, weigh all my food. And then I saw a video on Instagram the other day talking about the easy diet hack. Oh, here we go, easy diet hack. There's a sentence for you. But when the person in question who's talking is talking about they were X weight and now they're this weight, and they're saying all I did was, you kind of have to listen to a degree. And what you listen to is when they say weigh your food. And I'm like, well, Ethan Suplee was is very much into weighing food. But for me, I'm like, but is that not like super obsessive behaviour? Is that one of those things where you change your obsessive food behaviour from the negative, and you kind of, it's like taking an addiction and making the addiction work for you rather than against you? And there's a part of me that's like, I don't think that's healthy. And obviously the result and the outcome is healthy. It is a good thing. You get healthier, you get thinner, you get, in a lot of these cases, absolutely shredded or absolutely jacked or whatever. But the mental health side of it. But then there's that part of me that then thinks, are you now just making excuses not to do it to make those improvements? I'm starting to think it's the last hurdle. I'm starting to think it's the last, because where do you go from there? If you were weighing your meals, where do you go from there? And, you have to have so much in weight of, carbs, so much in weight of protein, so much in weight of fat. And that's that. That's your meal done. You weigh out what you need, you eat it, and away you go. Is that it? Is that the answer? Sounds. From a mental health perspective, it sounds sketchy, but seems to work. I don't know if I can get there quite yet. We'll see. Was it last week where I said I'd put Scrubs Series 7 down on the list and then realised that I'd put it on the list but I hadn't watched any? That is not the case this week. I put it on the list and I have watched some. Yeah, I think I've been through that watching Scrubs this late in the game is very much like a slow motion car crash. I was just about to add a movie, but I haven't finished it. But I have seen it before. Does that count? I suppose it's content for next week. don't think I care enough. I suspect I'm being overly harsh, but I feel that it's just, as Sam would say, I feel it's just spinning its wheels. It's just another episode of another programme that's had 7 series and probably doesn't know what it's doing. Pardon me. So let's talk about movies instead. I don't think I've watched... No, I don't think I've watched any TV stuff. I'll tell you something I saw the other day. My eldest finished watching... She didn't finish it, but it was going to cost too much money. She had been watching a series called Young Justice, which is like another version of kind of like the Teen Titans, mixed with the Justice League. So that's that. And she watched series 1 and 2. I bought those as like kind of like treats for her, so she could watch them. She enjoyed them. Problem we had was series 3 is split into 2 parts, and I bought the first part, but it was the price of another of one of the series. So I was like, oh, darling, these are getting a bit expensive now. And then the only way you can do the second part of the third series is buy individual episodes at £2.50 a pop, and there's 13 of them. And I worked out that was going to be insane money. So I was like, darling, I think you might have to find something else to watch for now, and we'll have to hope that comes down in price further down the line. So she spent a week going through like a load of DC stuff, the Batman, Batman Beyond, Superman the Animated Series. The one I wanted her to watch was Batman the Animated Series, but for some reason it won't work. It is Region 1, but so is, 90% of the stuff that I own in that sort of area. And all of that works. So that was just annoying. So on one of the last days of this week of trying new things, she announces, I want to watch Teen Titans. I'm like, what? I want to watch Teen Titans. But not just I don't want to watch Teen Titans, I want to watch Teen Titans Go. I'm like, darling, surely by now you've seen them all. She's like, I haven't seen them all. I was like, but what about all this stuff that you've been through? What about all these other ones that you've watched? Have you not found one? Oh, I just want to watch Teen Titans Go. I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to do. So we went to Netflix, which is one, if not one of the 2 places that you can get Teen Titans Go. And I went to put it on, and we were scrolling through, and I was like, oh, there's something there. There's a remake of She-Ra. Was She-Ra He-Man's sister or cousin? Sure, I looked this up at the time, and now I can't remember. It's like, they've done an updated version. He-Man's just had an update, helmed by Kevin Smith. So we watched the little Netflix intro advert-y thing, and she's like, "Oh, that looks good. I'll watch that." It's like, okay, you want to watch it now? She's like, "Yeah, looks really good." Something that I can't quite get my head round is that in it they call it She-Ra. Like, but it's She-Ra. But no, they call it She-Ra. So a character has been in it from what I can tell at the very beginning. It's like the main bad guy, or one of the bad guys. She was like She-Ra's friend, but then She-Ra went off to join the Resistance, and she became like the main one of the main bad guys. So I was watching an episode, and I was like, what's going on here? And this character is female. and that her and another female were going to a ball. I was like, that's interesting, because one of the female characters is dressed in a dress, and this character is dressed in a suit, like a tuxedo. So that's interesting. And then there was various things in this episode. And I was like, I mean, if I didn't know better, I would say that they were trying to introduce a certain type of character. There were a few more things, and in the end I was like, I'm going to have to look it up, because this is interesting to me. So it is revealed, apparently, later, like there's 5 series of this program. I didn't know anything about it. Apparently it's revealed in the last series that this main bad guy, female bad guy, and the main good guy, She-Ra, they end up in a relationship together. And I was like, that is fucking awesome. The level of, and this will sound weird, but the level of pride that I had for that. Because all I could think was, my eldest is sitting and watching this program and absolutely loving it. And if you ask her about it, she'll tell you what's going on and all of this. And she intently watches it. And as it goes through, what it's going to introduce is this relationship between the main, what would it be? Protagonist and the main antagonist? Is that how that works? I'm not intelligent enough to work that out. And I'm like, yes, that is exactly how it should be done. Exactly how it should be done. Because she's going to watch that and she's going to take that information in and see how natural that is. I was absolutely brimming with pride of how that's been done. I thought it was fantastic. So yeah, big shout out, big ups to the She-Ra crew. So I've definitely asked this question before, but I never got an answer, and because of that, I'm left in this world of limbo. Is the A-Team film shit? Because if it is, why can't I stop watching it? Like, any time I get the opportunity to watch that film, I watch it. I saw that it had appeared on Disney the other day, and I'm like, I'm going to watch that film. And whereas normally I put a film on and it takes me days to watch, still never finished watching White Man Can't Jump. Started that 3 weeks ago, haven't finished it. Normally films take me days to watch. Yeah, smashed through the A-Team in a day, and I was properly like sat staring at it, scratching my head like, is this shit? Now there are bits in it that I know are shit. The loop helicopter, the tank falling out of the sky, steering it with the cannon, all of that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is shit. But then I'm like, I like bad films. So is that what's going on here? All it is that this is a bad film and that's why I like it. But it's properly started like, not doing my head in, but I'm just very confused by it all. I'm just like, because I don't watch it and I'm like, fuck me, this is awful. That's not how I watch it. I'm like, good film this, I like it. Don't get it. I watched a film that I haven't seen in a long time. Again, film I started watching. I pretty much watched it in maybe I did watch it in a day. I watched the film High Fidelity. off the back of a conversation where I was quite embarrassed because I'd said to somebody on Friday, I was like, have you seen High Fidelity? Because it came up on the screen. No. What is it? What's it about? I was like, oh. And I rattled off what the film was about. And Leon's like, oh, it's kind of like he's having a midlife crisis. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's, it's just about he's dealing with a breakup and this, that, and the other. And then she's like, yeah, but there's all the stuff where he goes back to see all of his exes, like the top 5 stuff. Like the whole film's about top 5s. And I was like, oh yeah. I had completely forgotten that. And it's this thing that I'm back viewing the world, and I don't mean the world, I mean my world, as there were things that were so important to me, so insanely important to me, like knowing films inside out, like I was talking before, the stuff that my daughter now humours me about. Knowing films inside out, quoting movies, knowing facts and information and things like that. And then years later being in a position where I tell somebody what a film's about and miss like a massive chunk of what the film's about. And I was mortified. I was like, how have I managed to get that so wrong? And what I said wasn't incorrect. But Leanne hit the premise, like the main premise of that film, absolutely nailed on. And I was like, oh yeah, how have I forgotten that? I've read the book. Admittedly, I've read the book multiple times, and I mean like an insane number of times. But I've only actually ever read the whole book once. I think I've read that book about 6 times. Every time I get to the same bit, I stop reading it. And ironically, the same bit is when he starts going to look for his ex-partners. I'm just like, no, would never happen. Very interesting roles, very interesting actors in it. The one that just cracks me up is the Tim Robbins. That whole it's such a caricature. Like he's obviously wearing a wig, and the wig is like they've made no attempt to hide that it's a wig, so it can only be like intentional. Oh dear. Fantastic, Bill. Absolutely fantastic. Watching it now, I went through some kind of, I don't know, it was a real experience for me. I've always looked at that film like a kind of, I think when you watch anything and you experience anything, you see part of yourself in it, especially all those superhero movies. But I think I always watched that film from a particular perspective of, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about there. Watching it this time, I related to a different part of it. Like the main character is obviously a guy that just, from all of the information you're given, is just a guy that just makes mistake after mistake after mistake. I was like, yep, I can see that. But yeah, it was a real experience sitting down and watching that film. A real, I don't know, eye-opener maybe. I don't know. I've stuck with the VR playing. That has continued. So there's that. However, I am still only playing, or have only been playing Pistol Whip. I swear my intention is to play something else, but I can't get away from how great Pistol Whip is. And I know that doesn't make for great podcasting. Something that has happened though is, whereas I was hitting quite high numbers on the scoreboards, that's not so much the case anymore, which is taking a little bit of a shine off it. But it's still a lot of fun, very enjoyable. So there's that. As far as console games are concerned, no surprises. I'm still plugging my way through Assassin's Creed Valhalla. For all the time that I had said, they saved all the good stuff to the back end, I feel we've gone back into a little bit of a lull. I feel the game direction for this game is all over the shop. I do wish that there'd been a bit more, I don't know, feeling like they knew what they were doing. So it started to sag again. I am at the very end. But here's a couple of problems. Firstly, Assassin's Creed introduced a leveling system. So they've gone down this a little bit more of an RPG route. So they've got this leveling system, which on one hand you can understand, and on the other hand is utter horseshit, because what you end up with is you can't go to certain places and do certain things because you're not a high enough level. And that's the situation I'm faced with at the moment. I'm basically, from what I can tell, at the end of the game. But I'm something like 60 levels below the level it's telling me I should be to go and do what I'm guessing is the back end of the game. How? When I've been a higher level up till this point of all the areas that I've been to. And how do I bring that level up? Which I've been attempting to do. I've been doing a few more side missions here and there, a few more activities. But what? I'm going to get 60 levels? I don't believe that is true. And it started to annoy me. Part of me thinks that I'm just going to go and attempt to see what's next and see what happens, but it makes it very clear that I'm not high level, so I don't know what's going on. Something else that has annoyed me in the last couple of days is like I say, I'm trying to level up, trying to be the level the game wants me to be. So I'm like, what can I do? I've got this list of missions here. River raids, which is largely banging your head against a brick wall to get stuff. So I'm like, I'll go and bang my head against a brick wall to get stuff for a little while. How do I do that again? And I wandered around the village, and I kept going places, and I kept talking to people, and I kept doing all this stuff. And then I went around the village again. Then I went off and did a mission, and I came back. And in the end, I had to Google it. And the whole time I'm doing it, I'm going, why is this a thing? Why are we at a point in time where our games are that complicated and there's that much in them that you couldn't possibly hope to remember how to do everything? So I did that. I found out how to do it. You have to go and talk to a particular character. And that particular character wasn't even in the vicinity of where I'd been looking. So, So I went and I was doing that. And it was like, hey, let's go raiding. I was like, yeah, let's do that. And yeah, it was very much banging my head against a brick wall for, 35 minutes or something. And in the end I was like, I can't be bothered anymore. And I turned it off. Again, we're in that range of it's a real shame that this is the way this has gone, because I was really enjoying it. I was genuinely enjoying it as a game, and now I'm back to not overly. There's been a couple of days where I just haven't even bothered putting it on. Also raises the question again of what will I play when this is finished? Because, there are no games out there in the world. But I'm sure we'll find out soon. That is that. Sorry if it's a bit all over the map. I am tired. But that's a story for another day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening along. And I will catch you next time. There we go. What do you think to that? Another one done. Where does all the time go? You could use the time wisely. You could click the subscribe button and become one of our amazing subscribers, whether it's YouTube or wherever you're getting your podcasts. Do subscribe. It's a big help to us, and ultimately, it's a big help to you. You can check us out over at the cookiecast.com. That's our website. It's small, but it's mighty. It's got social media links and email links, which means you can get in touch with us. So there we go. That's it for this one. I'm going to say bye. I'm going to catch you next time. So, see ya!